The empty cup that changed a proud leader. The wisest man in the village refused to teach his brightest student. Let's dive into the story. Ethan loved learning. He read every book he could find. He listened to famous teachers. He filled notebook after notebook with ideas. People admired him. Whenever someone had a question, Ethan was ready with an answer. After a few years, he began to believe there was little left for anyone to teach him. One day he heard about an old teacher who lived alone on a quiet hill. People said the old man had guided leaders, farmers, parents, and children for many years. Curious, Ethan climbed the hill. "I have come to learn from you," he said with confidence. The old teacher smiled. "Come inside." The small house was simple. A wooden table stood near the window. 2 cups rested beside a small teapot. The teacher poured hot tea into Ethan's cup. The cup became full, but the teacher kept pouring. Tea ran over the edge. It spilled across the table. It dripped onto the floor. Ethan jumped to his feet. "Stop! The cup is already full." The old man looked into Ethan's eyes. Then he quietly placed the teapot down. The room became silent. Ethan waited. He expected the teacher to explain. Instead, the old man picked up a cloth and slowly cleaned the table. Minute after minute passed. The silence became uncomfortable. Finally, Ethan asked, "Why did you waste the tea?" The old teacher smiled. "Did I waste the tea?" Ethan frowned. Of course, the cup had no room left. The teacher nodded. "Then why do you expect your mind to be different?" Those words stayed in the room like an echo. Ethan wanted to answer. He could not. The teacher continued. "You arrived carrying your own answers. Before I spoke, you had already decided what was true." Ethan looked down. No one had ever spoken to him like this. Still, he defended himself. "I have worked hard to learn." "I know you have," the teacher replied kindly. "But knowledge and wisdom are not the same." The old man pointed outside. A strong wind moved through the trees. "Do you hear the wind?" "Yes." "Can you see it?" "No." "But you know it is there because the trees move." The teacher smiled again. The wisest people are often like the wind. They do not try to prove themselves. Their lives speak for them. Ethan became quiet. The teacher handed him an empty basket. "Walk to the river." Confused, Ethan obeyed. When he reached the river, he filled the basket with water. Before he took 3 steps, the water disappeared. Again and again he tried. Again the basket became empty. After many attempts he returned, tired and frustrated. "It is impossible." The old teacher asked, "Is the basket still the same?" Ethan looked closely. Something had changed. The dirty basket was now clean. The teacher smiled. "You believed you had failed because you carried no water." He paused. "But something changed while you were trying." Ethan stood silently. The lesson reached deeper than he expected. The teacher spoke one last time. A proud person wants to appear full. A humble person is willing to become empty. God fills people who admit they still need him. For the first time in many years, Ethan had nothing to say. Days passed. Weeks passed. Instead of showing others how much he knew, Ethan began asking questions. He listened more. He interrupted less. He thanked people for correcting him. His friends noticed something different. His words became fewer. His kindness became greater. People no longer admired him because he always had the right answer. They trusted him because he cared enough to listen. Years later, another young student climbed the same hill. The student expected to meet the old teacher. Instead, he found Ethan sitting beside the same wooden table. Without saying a word, Ethan reached for the teapot. He filled the student's cup. Then he kept pouring. Tea flowed over the edge. The young student quickly shouted, "Stop! The cup is already full." Ethan smiled. "So was mine." Life lesson. Many people want more knowledge. Few people make room for wisdom. An empty cup is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you are ready to grow. Pride says, I already know. Humility says, teach me. The people who grow the most are not always the smartest. They are the ones who stay teachable. Every new day gives you a choice. Protect your pride, or empty your cup and let God fill it again. Biblical reflection. James 4:6. God opposes the proud but gives grace to the humble. God is ready to guide people who admit they still need Him. Humility opens the heart to His wisdom, His correction, and His purpose. Reflection question. What is one area of your life where you need to empty your cup and let God teach you again?